Hello, football fanatics, and welcome to the Real Talk FC. I hope you're all doing well, keeping safe, and have been enjoying this crazy football season that we've been having. And if you're new to the channel, this is a platform for all football fans. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what team you support. So give us a shout. All our information will be in the description, and you can come on and have your say about this beautiful game. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share. That's how we grow this community. And speaking of growing this community, we have a debutant on the Real Talk FC,
Yeah,
Clyde,
yeah,
all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa. How are you doing, bro? And welcome.
yeah. Awesome, great. Thanks for having me on as well. It's great to be on here, and
Uh,
yeah, hopefully we can do what we do best: chat about football.
of course. Well, great to have you, even though you're a Liverpool fan. we don't discriminate. And well, usually for those of some of you that have been watching the show, Triv, my regular co-host, wasn't able to make it because his team lost and are almost in the relegation zone, so he's hiding somewhere in China. Well, I'm just joking. He is sick, so he couldn't make it. But it would have been lovely to have a United fan and just to rub it in their face. Um, uh, yeah, basically rub the victory. Most of you would know Arsenal beating Man United 1-0 after 14 years. We
It's
finally
quite a
got
big thing.
yeah, we got a win at Old Trafford, and after five
A
years,
well-deserved win as well. I might say, add to that, it was a well-deserved win for
thank
Arsenal.
you. I know I will come to you, and I would love to get your thoughts as a neutral. But I just want to go a little bit longer and just praise my team because it's been so long.
Take
And the
your
last
time. Take
time
your time.
And the last time we beat a top side, top six side, whatever, big six, whatever you want to call it, was in 2015. So it's been a while, but it was a great performance from minute one. We pressed really hard. Our organization was immense. Everyone played at their best, and Arteta, um, with the master tactics over Solskjaer, he got his tactics spot on. So it was a great result, even though it was a 1-0 penalty. But we had a few chances. We could have gone 1 or 2-0 up in the first half. And yeah, United just looked out of it. It didn't seem like they were there, they were in the game at all. I didn't, for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like scared, like we would concede, and that's down to our two new signings, Thomas Partey and Gabriel Magalhaes, who were absolutely brilliant, rock solid defensively, and Thomas Partey also going forward, breaking the lines, carrying the ball forward, which we haven't had um, that caliber of a midfielder in years. So yeah,
He
I'm
was man
super
of the match, I
excited.
would say. Yeah.
Yep. I think him, Gabriel, and Lenny, there were three that were very close. But I would just give it to Thomas Partey, maybe edging it a little closer. So as you can see, I'm super excited, super happy with that win. But I need to know that I know the Premier League changes very quickly. I mean, on my last show, I don't know if you watched it, I was ranting about Arsenal, and I wasn't very happy about it. But the league the Premier League is crazy. So every week, you get a different game and a different scenario. But what did you make of it? What did you think of the performance of both
Well,
teams?
well, what was surprising about Arsenal is that Arteta took the handbrakes off the team. You know,
Yep.
it looks like they were kind of playing a bit too defensively at times in the previous games, and I think they were showing some of the opposition teams a little bit too much respect.
I
If you
agree.
look at that, if you look at that forward line of Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, Saka, well, whichever
William.
combination of
Yep.
them plays, yeah, Willian, they've got so much of speed and creativity in there. You have to make use of that, you know. And at times, I just felt like they were so defensive minded that they weren't getting the best out of those three. The one criticism I have of Arteta and Arsenal still, even including yesterday, was why is Oba playing so wide left? You know, it's really nullifying his threat. You know, you want your best goal scorers, your best finishers to be playing as close to the goal as possible. And if you look at the one chance, I think it was in the second half where he flashed a shot just narrowly wide,
Yep, yep.
and it was from a very central position. And players like him, you know, that number nine, that striker's instinct, you have to have them as close to the box as possible. And when I look at the game, I think Saka was playing more centrally at times. You know, like I said, isn't a better finisher than Aubameyang, and he's
No.
playing more central. You see, so I think that's maybe something that you know. I don't even know if Arteta will want to change it. You know,
The thing
because
is,
it
right,
looks to.
and many Arsenal fans have raised that point, so it's an excellent point. The thing is, Aubameyang almost finished top scorer last season playing from the left, right? Now, in I would also prefer him playing centrally, and agree with you. Your best goal threat should be playing through the center, closest to the box. But I think the way Arteta's system works, I think he wants to accommodate Lacazette, because what Lacazette does is it drops deep, and he, even though his hold up play isn't the greatest, it's the best out of all our forward players, right? So
Yeah,
what
yeah,
that does is he drags the center backs with him, and then that creates a space behind from Aubameyang to run from the left channel into the right. Same for Pepe or Willian or whoever is playing. Now, obviously, it doesn't come off every single time because,
yeah,
like for example, in the City game, Pep had two or three players on Aubameyang, so he completely nullified that threat. And then once managers try to, well, they basically understand what Arteta's trying to do, then that's where the danger comes in, and then we have no other attacking threats. But you are right. I would
yeah.
love to see Aubameyang to the center and maybe Saka to the left and Pepe or Willian to the right, because that's a pacey, uh, a dynamic attacking line. But
Yeah,
so far, it's kind of worked with Lacazette. Maybe in the future, he might change it. Uh, yeah, well, but I agree with that point. I do.
yeah.
I would
No,
love to see
because
Aubameyang as a centre forward.
if I look at the finishing yesterday, I mean, Arsenal had quite a few chances.
Yeah, we
I
did.
think they've probably created more chances yesterday than they have in the previous games.
Agreed.
So, if when you're playing against better opposition, you don't take chances like that; they'll punish you. You know,
Exactly, and we
and
didn't against City and Liverpool.
yeah,
Remember, Lacazette had that
yeah,
golden opportunity. I know Alisson
he
made
had
a
a
really
few.
good save,
Yeah,
but if Lacazette scores that goal 2-2, the game's completely different. If Saka against in City scores that goal where it hit Edison on the shoulder, completely different game. So it's fine margins, and you have to be clinical. In big
yeah,
games, you won't get many chances, and that's where that's what makes great teams. The more clinical they are, the better. But well, hopefully, all our strikers have been out of form. None of them have been scoring. So even though Aubameyang got that penalty, it's good for his confidence and for that, the mental. Strikers, well, they need just one goal to get that run going. And if they don't score, it doesn't matter. It can be the scrappiest goal. They need
yeah.
that something to get them
Yeah,
going. So
strikers are
hopefully,
weird. Yeah, they just
yeah.
need that one chance, and then all of a sudden now they start going on this purple patch. So
So
yeah,
I mean,
hopefully
I
we
just
can.
play socially and small leagues, and I'm a striker. I play forward, and I understand. Like when it's not going, when it's not your day, no matter what you do, like you just need something to go in, and then after that, the confidence just comes back.
Yeah,
So hopefully for Aubameyang, that will follow on into the next games. What did you make of United's performance? Well, we don't have the other United fans on the channel today, so
you know,
what did you make of their
but it,
team?
I must say when obviously Ole has been he's been experimenting with his formations and his lineups recently, which I actually don't think is a bad thing because he has a few, especially in attack in his midfield. He's got quite a few options, and he obviously doesn't know which is his best starting 11 yet. So when I saw the starting lineup, I actually thought it was quite a good-looking lineup. I
So
thought,
did I. I was scared. I
yeah,
won't lie. Yeah.
and and similar to the discussion we just had about heard about Auburn just now. Again, I felt like it's a type of formation which will get the best out of Rashford and Greenwood because they'll be playing closer to the box. Because I feel when Martial plays as the number 9 and it forces Rashford and Greenwood out wide,
Yeah.
and again and Martial isn't a natural number 9, so I thought that it would definitely help Rashford and Greenwood, but then I think it wasn't so much the problem of the front two. It's that the midfield started to malfunction.
Yep.
Yeah, because Pogba started getting dragged out to the left a little bit, and then it's not his natural game anymore. McTominay and Fred actually did okay, and come to think of it, when I look at some of the play, the way the United players were closing down, even the Arsenal players for that matter, you would just see 2 or 3 players quickly converge, around the man in possession. They were that's why it was such a scrappy game at times, possession
Yep.
wise. So I think both teams applied themselves well, but Arsenal ultimately just won their tactical battle in the midfield because
Yeah.
unlike like I said, United had a malfunctioning midfield, and then Thomas Partey did everything right, and Nani had the game of his life.
Oh
So
yeah,
you know,
Mohammed Elneny. Who would have thought, man? I don't
uh,
think any Arsenal fan would have predicted. And to be fair to him, every time he's come on, he's looked a different player from the player we knew before he went on loan to Turkey. So whatever they did there in Turkey, thank you. And he's a great squad player to have.
yeah,
I don't think Mohamed Elneny will get into, if you want to challenge for the title in your first team,
yeah.
but to have a squad player of that caliber is it's a good thing.
Yeah,
So
it's like a situation that typifies El Neni was he did everything right, but then he had that situation where just at the edge of the box he could have actually taken a touch and took a shot, but then
yeah,
he decided to take it first time shot over the bar. It's that lack of composure, but still,
yeah.
it was a very good performance.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
the
in the
one
91st minute, he was closing down defenders. I mean,
No,
that was.
that was quite something else as well. It was almost like he's playing a cup final. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I want to talk about, and firstly, it was nice to not have any refereeing flashpoints or VAR flashpoints from
Thank
this
God,
game.
after a while.
But, but do you think that Gabriel was lucky to finish the game?
Yep,
Because I
I
think
did.
he should have got a second yellow card. Uh,
I thought so. I actually was talking to my brother and I did tell him, I'm like, Gabriel is lucky there. I thought he would have been sent off. But then also, Fred had a few challenges after he got the yellow card. But because the referee played on the advantage, they weren't looked into. But even Fred could have been sent off. There were a few decisions maybe could have
yeah.
been. But they weren't, like you said, they weren't clear cut decisions that you could pinpoint it out and said this should have definitely been a
Yeah,
card.
look, I think had Gabriel not got the first yellow card, then it wouldn't.
Yeah,
He would
for
have probably
sure.
got booked.
Yeah.
And look, I don't blame the referee. I'm not saying it's a controversial decision by any means because I think at the end of the day, even referees want to do right by the game to make sure it's still it remains a contest. But
I don't know.
so I think
Sometimes they like
no,
the
it depends.
limelight. I don't know.
I think more so in the bigger games, especially I think with so much of controversy over the last few weeks,
Yeah,
maybe they
yeah.
just didn't want another flashpoint. So look, I don't think it was a bad decision, but I think it was a very lucky decision. So
No,
yeah,
definitely. Well, if sometimes you need the luck on your side, right, to win football matches. And
exactly, yeah,
speaking of having luck and winning football matches, let's move on to Liverpool. Well, we can you can obviously we can look at the game that just happened over the weekend, but we need to speak about the big, I would call I wouldn't say the title decider, but the two title contenders playing each other, Man City, Liverpool over the weekend. What are your thoughts? What have you made of Liverpool this season? I know you guys have had a lot of injuries at the back,
yeah.
but you've kind of coped with it. You're still churning out results. You are on top of the table. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, things aren't looking as bad as some of us hope for. But they yeah. What did you make of them? What are you making? What did you make of
Well,
Liverpool this
firstly,
season?
if you want to talk about luck, you know, I think as a Liverpool fan, and this is a completely unbiased opinion, I mean, you can look at the stats to back this up or whatever, but Liverpool have scored so many late goals in the last 10 minutes of games or whatever that even as a fan, I don't really panic anymore in those last 10, 15 minutes if it's 0-0 or we're goal down or whatever. I actually believe and almost expect that these players are going to go out and get a goal. If you can think of 2 years ago when we narrowly came out second to City, we chased them right till the end with a lot of late goals as well, lots of comebacks. Last season, same thing. And now you look, this season, it's already been Leeds, where we scored in the last 10 minutes. It's been, well, Sheffield United, not it wasn't a late goal, but it was a come from behind victory. And
Yeah,
then again this weekend, and also let's not forget the Everton game. You know, if it wasn't for the VAR decision over there, it could be
yeah,
another late goal that we were talking
yeah.
about.
I
You know,
think that was a
you know,
shocking decision. I think Liverpool should have won
so
that game. Yeah,
yeah, so I think they've obviously have that that resilience and that mentality about them that they can keep on going and going. So, and I think that's the one thing that gave me hope, even with the injuries mounting up, is that had we not won the league last season, I think that changes things because
yeah.
you don't
The
have
pressure is
that
on.
winning mentality and so on. Yes, the pressure is on, but I think once you have that winning mentality, you tend to dig deeper, and your belief is over there. So even though the injuries have been racking up and so on, I expect and believe that we have the quality and the mentality to go out and still get results. And if you look at it so far, got they've been doing
Well,
exactly
I
that.
would say that late last minute winner. Sorry, it's a hallmark of champions. That's what champions do. I mean, the dominant United sides under Ferguson did that
Yeah, yeah,
week in week out, and that's how they won
yeah.
titles. That's how
Yeah.
they won
I
football
mean, they were
matches.
calling it Fergie time back
I
then,
know
and
exactly. I mean,
yeah,
some were
and
questionable, but
but they did it.
that's
They had
the
that winning mentality to keep on
exactly.
going and keep on going. So, like I said, it's not. I'm not surprised by this team anymore. I believe that they have that mentality to keep on going back and getting the results. Just it's not good for my heart,
No,
but it's
yeah,
but it makes exciting watching. It
of
keeps you
course.
involved in the game right till the end. So
Yeah, yeah. It's like I always say, football. The reason why it's such a worldwide crazy sports fanatics who like follow this crazy game is because it has that adrenaline rush. It's like a drug. Anything could happen. It just keeps you. It keeps you
exactly,
intrigued. It keeps you interesting, and that's why we're all doing this, talking about football, watching it all the time.
exactly. Yeah,
It has that dopamine release in our
yeah,
brains that keeps us intrigued.
yeah.
But
The only thing that prevents us from celebrating like we used to is like now we
the
have to wait for VAR
oh
to
yeah,
intervene, make sure that that's fine. But before, especially, you had that adrenaline rush. But yeah, but going back to your question about this weekend's game, it's weird because the last 2 seasons, so Liverpool had the stronger defense and they didn't score as many as City, but because of the good defensive base, they were getting results.
yeah,
Where City were the ones where they were getting these massive results, 4, 5, 6 goals a game and
oh
so on.
yeah. They were
But
just
they were leaking goals.
yep,
So, and I think now all of a sudden the roles have reversed a little bit, where because there's still a bit of defensive uncertainty in the Liverpool team, they give away at least one or two big chances
yeah,
to the opposition every game. I mean, you look at the Gomez one; that was a howler, and
yeah. That
but
was
that was a but again, you look at City on the other hand. After the thrashing that they took at Leicester, they've tightened up now. They've I think they've realized, okay, they without their focal point in attack and so on, they're not going to have that fluidity in attack, so they've decided to tighten up at the back, and it's actually helped them get some good results, better performance. It doesn't really suit them. It doesn't look like they're really playing the national game, but that's what makes this coming fixture quite exciting, because now the question is, are City really going to sit back against Liverpool at home? You know,
Yeah.
and are Liverpool really going to attack City at the Etihad? I don't think so. You know, so I think it's going to be quite a cautious approach from both teams, and I think Liverpool are probably going to sit back a little bit and try and invite City to attack them and hopefully hit them in a counter. And I think secretly that's what City are kind of hoping for as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And both teams are, yeah, go for it.
No, I'm just saying it's going to be an intriguing encounter. I'm quite looking forward to
Yeah,
that game, um,
yeah, yeah,
because, like I said, this season is so unpredictable. And I will, even though
yeah,
I will
yeah,
ask for your prediction at the end, but yeah, it's really really difficult to actually get any predictions right at the moment.
yeah,
But the best two managers in the league going head to head will always be exciting. Now I'm just gonna put you on the spot here, right? And I know you'll be a bit biased because, of course, one of the best managers in the world coaches your team. But who do you think is a better manager at this point in time, Klopp or Pep? Or even if you want to look at the last 10 years or since they started management.
Look, I don't think you can ever dispute that. It's obviously Pep, you know,
Yeah.
and Pep and Mourinho are the two best. Okay, so yes, Mourinho hasn't had the best of time over the last few years or whatever, but he still has a winning track record. I mean, if you look at his record, it's still better than Klopp's. It's still better than many other managers out there. I mean, I see people, you know, jumping on the Pochettino bandwagon, and
Nah.
but when you look at somebody like Mourinho, you know, you can't dispute it. It just shows how look, he's doing a good job at the moment, and when you're not fighting everybody, you can still be a good manager, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think to be fair, it's definitely Pep. You know, he's the better manager, but you know, Klopp, you know, he's doing okay now. He's probably, if he can keep this up, he'll be a few seasons away from
Wow,
joining
I think
the
you're
winning
quite
team.
underselling your own manager there. I think
Yeah,
Klopp, I wouldn't say he's doing okay. He's done brilliantly. I personally, I know Pep has a better trophy cabinet,
hmm,
but I think Klopp is a better manager because he builds teams. And
yeah,
I don't know how Pep would do if he was to come into Liverpool the time Klopp came. I don't think he would. He wouldn't be
yeah.
able
Look,
if he wasn't being
that's
backed
actually
by the board and given,
yeah.
I mean, limitless amount of money to spend.
So, you know,
He,
I can actually talk about this quite a bit, because if you look at City when they were preparing for Pep to come in, they first hired a director of football and a
yep,
sporting director or whatever it is, a CEO from. They got guys in from Barca. They were preparing for Pep's arrival like 2 or 3 years in advance. You know,
yep.
they were buying the players and so on. So there was a lot of preparation going into Pep arriving, and you're right. Pep isn't the type of person to come in and try and do a you know, rebuilding job or whatever it is. So yes, in that case, Klopp is definitely the better manager, and also I think when it comes to facing, you know, adversity, again Klopp is the better manager, because if you look at the mentalities of the two teams as well. City, when they are playing on the front foot, and when they take a lead, they can score another goal and another goal. But it's when they fall behind that they kind of lack that ability, that resilience to come back. You know, and you know, we were just talking about Liverpool just now, where they have that mentality about them. And
So,
I think one of the big,
yeah,
yeah,
sorry, go
so
on.
and I think one of the big reasons about it as well is where, if you look at the players City signed, they mostly come from other bigger clubs and
Yeah,
so on, and the established players where they're not used to grinding out results. And if you look at Liverpool's recruitment, they've signed a player from relegated teams, I think, for the last 5 seasons or something like that. Now, you think, okay, why should that make a difference? But those players know how to fight, they know how to battle. So when they do get placed in these situations, you look at players like Andy Robertson, Gini Wijnaldum, who's the other one I can think of? Shaqiri. You know, these players they have that ability
The
to
fight.
to
Mm.
to fight. You know, and I think that's been the difference between the two teams. Where City have that killer instinct when they're on top, but Liverpool have the resilience. You know, so
Yeah.
and I think it's
Well,
reflected in Pep and Klopp, where it's a reflection of the two managers.
no, definitely. That's a very good point you made. You know, like buying from the Premier, buying players from the Premier League from relegated teams. Um, what I would definitely, and like a lot of Arsenal fans admire is the recruitment by Liverpool. It's been excellent since Klopp came in. I mean, how Liverpool managed to sell players and get so much money. I mean, they should Arsenal need to learn that from Liverpool for sure.
You
Because
know, there's
you how much did Solanke go for? 19, 20 million.
that was
That's
that
ridiculous. How
was
much? And even
I
Brewster
feel like
went for a good quid.
we've stolen money from Bournemouth and Sheffield United. You know,
You have, man, you have.
yeah. But
So
look, I think a lot of credit has to go to Michael Edwards there as well. You know, people forget that he was actually at the club before Klopp arrived. He was still there around
sorry,
the
is
time
that your
when
technical director? Who's
yeah, he's the sporting director. Yeah, you
sporting
know,
director? Okay.
he's been working with he heads up the analytics team, and they do a whole lot of recruitment or whatever. And I remember back in the day when Brendan Rodgers was still in charge of the club, there was this very scathing article about Michael Edwards. Where they mockingly called him Laptop Eddie, about he's only stuck behind a
Yeah.
computer and so on, and things like that over there, and they used that as a stick to beat
Stats
him with.
DNA, right? I think that's what it's
You
called.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, and they didn't take into consideration that this guy has a track record where he'd worked at Spurs, he'd worked at Portsmouth, and I think he was also, he was well traveled, and so he had a great in-depth knowledge of football. He just so happened to be somebody who's good with stats as well. He's a statistician, but he was much derided during the time. But the problem was actually with Brendan Rodgers because he was not used to working in a system like that.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at Klopp, he comes from the Bundesliga where
And they use
they
that a
work
lot.
in that
They-
model. And I think that's what was the biggest part of it. It was having everybody on the same page and understanding each other's roles. It's not a case of, okay, you bringing in this player over my head and so on. It was understanding that, okay, I'm the first team coach, I'm the manager, I can't do everything. And I mean, if you look at some of the recruitment we've done, Salah actually wasn't Klopp's first choice. He wanted somebody like
Okay.
Julian Brandt, but it was Michael Edwards who said, "Look, we have this player for you. You've got to take a look at him." And there's one or two others like that over there. But it just shows when there's a trust across the board between people. That's when even it may be not a decision that you completely on board with at the beginning, but you end up having a situation
In order to
like
be
now
a
where it's
successful
working.
team, right, it has to all align from the top, the owners, the board, the manager, the players. And if they're not in cohesion, you can't win. You might win a cup
Yeah.
here and there, like Arsenal have, because it hasn't been in cohesion. We have been winning FA Cups, but that's because our managers know how to have been known, especially Wenger knew how to win FA Cups, and Arteta is still new to the job, so we'll see how he goes on. But he managed to win a cup, but
Yeah.
that's because we haven't had that cohesion at the club. I mean, the owners don't know what the hell was going on, but now they seem to be taking more interest, and hopefully in 3 or 4 years' time, we could be sitting at where you guys are and discussing how we're going to be beating Manchester City to win the titles, or any other team. But
So yeah,
so yeah,
I'd
that's
say
yeah. Sorry.
yeah. So look, I'd say it's also a little bit of luck.
Of course.
It's not a case of we didn't actively look to do these things. It just kind of aligned. And sometimes every sporting club situation, whatever, you need that alignment. We've had some great players in the past, we've had some good managers in the past, and so on, but never all at the same time. And now we
Yeah.
finally have it at the same time. So yeah,
So now that you have all the players, the manager, do you think you'll be able to go to the Etihad this weekend and get a result over City?
I, oh, I definitely think we could go and get a result, but because of the way I think the teams would approach the game, I'm thinking I'm looking at maybe a 1-1. I can't
Okay.
see it being a high scoring game. Look, the one thing that between in this fixture is that Liverpool have a great record against City.
Yeah. Yeah, they
I
do.
think City haven't won a game at Anfield since like 2003. I think Anelka scored both the goals in that game. But
Okay.
and
Oh.
even at the Etihad, it's obviously City's record is better there, but Liverpool have a decent record. They've come away with the odd win here. They have quite a few high scoring draws actually,
Yeah.
lots of 2-2s in there and so on. And the games that City have won, they've won resoundingly. There was the 4-0 last season when Liverpool was still suffering their hangovers and so on
Yeah, I
after the
remember
title
that
win.
game.
Yeah, and then there was also a 5-0 a few years ago when Mane got a red card. And even going back like 10 years to Hodgson's time, there was a 3-0 win for City over there. But so in terms of the track record, I don't think it's a ground that Liverpool are afraid of going to.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to the respect that we've been showing United at Old Trafford, even up to this day, which still
Yeah.
surprises me, but we don't show
Yeah,
City
not
the
not
same
everyone
type
can
of
beat
respect,
United at Old Trafford. It's
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. So, but yeah, when I look at it, look, I definitely, if under different circumstances, I'd say that Liverpool have maybe more of a chance of winning the game than City, but my gut feel just tells me it's a draw at this point in time because I've looked at both teams play. They're still playing very uncertainly. They're both really grinding out at the moment.
yeah.
And I can't see that just changing for one fixture. The attack hasn't been fluid, so I don't think they'll just click all of a sudden for one game and score 3 or 4 goals. And with Liverpool as well, like I think if they are going to score, it won't be too many because City will want to tighten up at the back as well. So that's why I'll go for a draw on this one.
Okay. Well, I'm also going to go for a draw actually, but I'll go for a 2-2 draw. We are running out of
Okay.
time, so we're
Yeah.
going to end it here. Thank you, Clyde. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah.
of course, talking all things football. And if anyone out there wants to join us, please give us a shout. You're more than welcome to. Like I've been saying, and like Clyde is a witness, anyone, anywhere can come and join us and we can chat football. So thank you for joining us, and please like, subscribe, and and enjoy the fixtures coming ahead. Goodbye.